I'm a vicious admirer of watching PC players build effortlessly in Fortnite. It's something I envy greatly as a console player. So one of the biggest things hindering the building process on console is the position of the objects to build. For example, first is the wall, followed by the floor, followed by the stairs, and lastly the pyramid. In the midst of a battle, 99% of players are going to want to use the wall and then the stairs. The issue is you have to cycle through the damn floor base to get between them. Now you can't currently bind things like on PC, which hinders most people's true capabilities. Now there is something Epic can do to remedy this situation, but I'll go over that in just a minute. First, however, I want to teach everyone a way to build faster on console. It's sort of a workaround for this issue, but as with most things in Fortnite, it does take some getting used to first. Now as I mentioned, the major issue is cycling between the wall and the stairs. The way to get around this is very simple, but it does require you to make a modification before or during every match. So when you're in the pregame lobby, bring up your build menu. You can do this even without any materials, so you're good to go in that regard. Swap to the pyramid structure and position yourself so you can see the orange outline of the entire structure. Next, hold the circle button or the Xbox equivalent and you can edit this piece. Now just hit X on the two squares closest to you and then circle again to confirm. This will turn your roof piece into stairs. I should note that you do need to rotate it 2 times to make it face the right direction. Now everything about this modified stair piece is identical to the actual stairs. They build the same speed, they have the same health, and they cost the same materials. The only difference is in their appearance, which doesn't affect you at all. So now you may be asking, what's the point of this? The point is, you can now access a stair piece at double the speed. Once you modify a structure, the edited piece remains for the rest of the game. So now every time you bring up your building prompt and swap to the roof, it'll be the stairs. The benefit to this is that you no longer have to cycle through the floor piece to get to the stairs. You simply hit circle to build and then hit the L1 trigger to get to the stairs. And that's provided you're using the Combat Pro controller scheme. As I mentioned, this is about twice as fast as having to cycle from the wall over the floor to the real stairs. So just to prove that this is definitely faster, I'll run a speed test on a simple structure. And that's a wall followed by stairs. I'll start the timer the moment I see my wood count start to go down, and I'll stop it the moment the stairs get placed. So using the standard Combat Pro method of toggling through the floor base, it takes 0.817 seconds. Now when you use my method with the modified roof piece, the time is decreased almost in half to 0.483 seconds. And that's just with a simple structure such as this. If you have to constantly swap between a wall and stairs, then this process becomes even more beneficial to you. Now just for fun, I wanted to give an example of just how much faster PC players are at building due to the ease of placement versus on console. Now one of, if not the best Fortnite player on PC is the streamer named Ninja. I'm actually subscribed to his Twitch channel and I recommend you do the same, as just by watching him you can increase your knowledge at the game. So here's a clip of him building a simple structure during a 1 versus 1 fight against another popular streamer. He builds 11 pieces in about 5.1 seconds. Again, I need to emphasize that this was during a live gunfight. And also, he ran into a tree for one of the walls and it didn't build, but I still counted it since he attempted to do it. Now let's take a look at my example on console. I finished the same build in 9.1 seconds, which is a whopping 4 seconds slower. And to be fair, I practiced this repeatedly and I wasn't engaged in any gunfights. So the fact of the matter is, console building is just clunky in general. To make matters worse, on console, cycling through pieces really fast will cause a delay, which I'll prove for you with an example in just a second. So for experienced players who are used to switching back and forth really quickly, this delay is an absolute nightmare. The reason we don't see this on PC is because they don't flip through pieces like we do. They just put it down instantly. So watch here as I cycle through all my pieces as fast as I can. You can actually see the stuttering as it moves from piece to piece. That's not me doing it on purpose. I'm just pushing the button as fast as I can. If you move through the pieces slowly, it's not that bad. But who wants to grandpa their way through the pieces in the middle of a gunfight? If you slow down your clips, you can actually see the lag in process. For example, watch here as I hit circle to enter build mode and then instantly L1 to my modified roof. The wall structure is on my screen for 4 frames before it finally switches to the stairs, despite the actual modified roof icon being selected the entire time on the controls portion. This is the laggy delay I'm referring to. I'm sure everyone who's played on console has noticed this one time or another, especially if you use the normal method of building and have to cycle between the floor base to get to the stairs. I can't tell you how many times I got stuck on the floor base and accidentally built that instead of the stairs. Now luckily, my method of the modified roof lets you avoid this mishap altogether. Now before I get a flood of comments about it, I should mention that there is an option in the settings that allows the game to remember which piece you left off on. So for example, if you last built stairs, the next time you hit the build option, you'll still be on the stairs as opposed to defaulting to the wall. The problem with this is that most of the time you want to build a wall first anyway, which is way more useful than the stairs in the heat of battle. Not to mention that if you left off on the stairs, you'll still have to cycle through either the roof or the floor base to get back to the wall, which brings up the same issue we had in the first place. Now lastly, I saw on Reddit a modified controller scheme that would solve all these problems. And here's the image. Now as you can see, you'd still access the building process by hitting circle. Instead of hitting L1 or R1 to toggle between the pieces though, every piece is now assigned to one of your top 4 trigger buttons. So for example, R2 would select a piece and pressing it again would confirm it. The biggest advantage to this setup would be to never have input lag again. Not to mention that you can't really build the wrong item if you press the right button. And of course, there'd be no more cycling and thus no input lag. Luckily, one of the Epic developers commented on this topic on Reddit and said he'd pass it on. So fingers crossed that this eventually gets released. So there you have it. If you play Fortnite on console, utilize my method of modifying the roof piece into a makeshift stairs to speed up the building process by almost double. Not only this, you'll never have to worry about accidentally placing a floor base when cycling to the stairs with my method. So to recap, in the pregame lobby, simply swap to the roof structure, edit it by selecting the 2 closest squares toward you, confirm the edit, and then rotate it twice. Now every time you swap to the roof, it'll be identical to the normal stairs. As I said in the beginning though, this will take some getting used to. If you've been cycling from the wall to the stairs since you started playing, you'll be accustomed to doing that, which is a hard habit to break. Once you get the hang of it though, you'll be building faster in no time. Just not as fast as PC players.